painted trim gives your room a fresh finishing touch and highlights the details in your space. It's easier than you think to get it done. Don't worry, you got this with Premiere. Clean your trim thoroughly with a damp sponge or rag. Sand the trim lightly for better paint adhesion. If your trim is fairly new, use 120 grit sandpaper and sand until any sheen disappears. If your trim is rough and worn, it's best to use an 80 grit sandpaper to start and gradually work up to 120 grit to get a smooth surface. After sanding, wipe away any dust with a damp sponge. Fill in any holes, dents, or cracks with some lightweight spackling compound. Once dry, use sandpaper to smooth the area and then wipe away any dust. Apply painter's tape to the walls and ceiling surrounding the trim. Press the tape down with a clean putty knife to avoid paint bleeding through edges. Apply primer to the trim and let it dry for 24 hours. If you can still see any wood or spackle showing through, add another coat of primer. Lightly sand the trim again when the primer is dry. Use sandpaper to remove any stroke marks or drips from the primer. Wipe the dust away with a damp sponge. Apply paint to the trim using horizontal brush strokes. After several small strokes, smooth out with one long brush stroke. Semi-gloss paint is ideal for trim and door frames. Once you've finished painting your trim, but before the paint is dry, carefully remove the painter's tape. With Premiere, painting your trim is easy and effortless. Add some highlights to your room. Don't worry, you got this with Premiere.